Hey cats, it's your midsole man Ed Balls Hill Bud here. I got a quick race preview for you for the forthcoming Yeovil Half Marathon 2025. What shoes am I going to be wearing? What gear am I taking with me? How about nutrition and tech? What are my targets? Let's take a look. Thanks for tuning in and joining me here on the channel, people. My name's Eddbud. I review running shoes and just running stuff in general, really. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Also, drop us a comment. It seems to help with the YouTube algorithm. Dankeschön. Okay, so Yeovil Half Marathon coming up this weekend. Very excited for this one. It's my local half marathon, literally less than a mile down the road to get to the start, which is absolutely ideal. No need for like expensive hotels and long distance traveling here. I'm going to aim to stick with my good buddy Big Al. He's the pacer for 1 hour 30 for this one. He's part of my long run team. At the weekends we go out and just chat, you know, general running chat. So it's stay with Big Al on this one or bust. No excuses this time. Nothing else on the cards for me. I'm going for that sub 130 and that's that. I did manage 1 hour 31:03 last time out on this course. I'm in similar form in terms of my current situation. VO2 max is supposedly on the up. It reckons it's 59. I think that's actually a little bit high. I'm always a bit skeptical about VO2 max stuff on watches. Predicted time from the Garmin is now at 1:27. It seems to think I'm some sort of atomic superman. So taking into account the elevation on the course and the small course changes that we've got, I'm batting for 1 hour 30 on this. That's going to mean banking some time early on this course because we do have two sort of inclines here. There's one very steady incline from round about mile 2 through to mile 6 really. You don't notice that you're going uphill, but there is a steady climb. And then there's a pretty sharp, nasty hill climb round about mile 9. That's through to about mile 10.5, I think. And mostly downhill in between that. So, you know, you got to take the rough with the smooth, right? There are some slight course changes to take into account. Perhaps if you've run this course before, the start is actually in a completely different place, as is the finish. You head out in this sort of reverse direction to where you finish, actually, and head up to where the original start line is, and then join the old course. Sadly, no run through Montacute House and the Gardens this time out. I believe it wasn't sort of financially viable for the organisers to do it this time. And to be honest with you, I'm quite happy about that. Not having to run on the sort of stones and gravel within Montacute House is absolutely fine with me. We'll be sticking to the road, and that's tried and tested, and that's kind of what we have to do when we go and test out this course, you know, and run it on a Sunday morning or whatever. Finish is now not down the Quidam shopping centre. It in fact finishes near to where we actually start the race, so we avoid the anxiety of running down the Quidam on the final section, which is downhill normally, and there's these like drain covers and stuff that really caused me a lot of worry that I'm going to step on one of those and go flying or something. So don't have to worry about that this time, which is great. In terms of shoes, because I know you like the shoes, right? I'm thinking of 3 different models here, either going to be the METASPEED EDGE PARIS from ASICS, possibly the Adios Pro 4 from Adidas, or maybe that box fresh pair of the ALPHAFLY 3s that I've got. Here they are. So recently had some great success in using the METASPEED EDGE PARIS, doing some speed training, some longer distance stuff. I felt really light and nimble. I did use the METASPEED Sky Paris, in fact, on last year's race, and that worked extremely well. There's very subtle differences between the shoes. I did run the majority of the route last Sunday in these, and I've got to say that, yeah, I was going at a faster pace and time I thought I was really going to do on that day. You know, it's a training run, but I was having way too much fun out there. And when you're having fun, you're having fun, right? So definitely in the running, really like the upper on this one. Super breathable and mega light. Just feels like there's barely anything on your feet, aside from under your feet. Because, yeah, no one wants to run this course in bare feet. So it worked before, and no reason that it won't work again for me, though the plate in this one is catering for a faster cadence rather than sort of opening up your stride. Now, I know that the ALPHAFLY 3 works at this pace for me that I'm aiming at here, as does the Adios Pro 4, so that does give me a bit of a quandary. Of course, I got these box fresh pair that I was holding back really for the Manchester Marathon. I am going to need to break these in though, probably today or tomorrow actually, to make sure that I'm absolutely happy to use them on the race. And the reason I say that is because I've had to treat both other pairs that I've got with some WD-40 in the past to stop the squeaking. My gosh, the squeaking in this shoe out of the box. You need to get a decent-ish long run into them and kind of get rid of that. It was pretty considerable from both pairs, but it did stop after a little while and disappear once I'd added in some of that magic stuff. Adios Pro 4 is also in the running, though I feel that shoe's not got quite the pop that it did have when I first took it out of the box. Still feels great though, I just feel that it's perhaps not wholly tuned for me this time round. Probably going to be one of these two. Let me know what you think I should use down in the comments. I am leaning towards the METASPEED EDGE Paris at the moment. That's purely down to recent performance in training and the familiarity with the shoe. Nutrition wise, I'll stick with what I always do pretty much every single day. So it's probably porridge, 2 hours before, maybe a banana in the build up somewhere, and then I'll carry 2 gels with me. Recently I've been using the Science in Sport gels. We have Mildred. Mildred very rarely comes up here to investigate what's going on. How you doing, my darling? Purring away. Deposited some more cat hair all over me. Thanks for that, Mildred. I've got a pretty fast metabolism. I've been finding those Science in Sport gels work really well for me. Don't get too many sort of indigestion like related issues. So probably drop a gel around about mile 4.5, maybe my 8.5, something like that. It's always round about those points where I just feel I need a little boost. They always reckon the Science in Sport gels take about 20 minutes to kick in. It's a little bit faster for me, I feel. They'll just lift me up when I'm starting to tire just a little bit. Tried and tested. I'm not going to move too far from my typical race setup. Water, well, only if it's warm. It doesn't look like it's going to be that warm this time round. I did consult the weather, and here's what I found. Perfect temps, gentle breeze, no rain. So can't really ask much more for that. In all fairness there, it's spot on. I'm going to set up the Pace Pro on my Garmin watch. Always do that for every race. I'm going to set it as per the pacer. You know, I've got some insider knowledge on that one of how Big Al's going to go for this one. Dial in the hill intensity so it's like right back. So it's a little bit easier up the hills, and then pick up the pace. Make up a bit of that time on the flats and the downhills, of which there's some quite considerable downhills here, let's not forget. Undoubtedly, everybody's going to slow a bit on those hills. It just is the way of the world. So it's always a good test of endurance and strength. Now, I do believe for the first time on this course, they are going to allow the use of bone conduction headphones. So I've got some from Shocks. They will be on, they will be playing a banging album that I've recently found. Never heard of the band before, I don't know why, because they were right up my street, but that is Crazy Cavan and the Rhythm Rockers. Mainly focusing on tempo and cadence here, really just to help keep the consistency over the distance. It's easy to sort of fall into a sort of slower cadence, shorten the stride a bit and make it easy for yourself and kind of give up. But no, that ain't happening this time around. I'm going to go with the slightly looser ASICS shorts that I've got. I found that they just give me a bit more leg mobility and range rather than the Aeroswift tights. Those just seem to actually limit the mobility a little bit. So going to go with the typical shorts. I always think of them as being like the, you know, British running race shorts. They just seem to work a bit better. There's a bit more movement. Socks, as always, I'll be going for the UYN Runners 5. Those toe socks just really work for me. Help to fill up the toe box a little bit more. Widen your foot as well, and you don't get any problems with your toes rubbing like in between each other. So that's the plan. Let's see how we get on. Are you running the Yeovil Half Marathon this time around, or are you racing at a different event this weekend? Let us know your targets, let us know where you're going to be down in the comments. Very quick musical interlude for you. Today comes from Crazy Cavan and the Rhythm Rockers with their amazing album Our Own Way of Rocking. Now, this is straight out rockabilly madness. It's raw. There's loads of energy and power there. Brilliant tunes. Almost no kind of ballad-like numbers here. It's all straight up rock and roll. Drinking Wine Spodiodi is absolutely phenomenal. Some chugging riffs here and awesome rockabilly solo a little bit later on. Crazy Cavan actually really does sound like he lives up to his name. There's some quite wild like vocals on this album. The closing track is called Saturday Night, and yeah, he sounds almost unhinged on that one. I think they must have been having a great time recording it. Go and check it out, Our Own Way of Rocking by Crazy Cavan and the Rhythm Rockers. Thanks for joining me on the channel today, people. Hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up, like too, and drop us a comment as well to help with that algorithm. My name's Eddbud, and I'll be seeing you